What's going on, guys? Rockley AC here, bringing you guys a deck profile for the new Dragon Ball Z Super card game for Set 3 Cross Worlds. I'm super excited to bring this. This is a deck profile on Mono Blue Beerus with the Set 3 cards all updated and everything. We actually recently just had a release event on Friday, pretty much the day of the release, and I managed to pull top 4 through this. Literally just building this the day of. And just adding, the cards. We had about a 11-person tournament, and we had pretty much close to 4 rounds. We literally played almost at midnight and lasted till about 2:30 in the morning. So it was a very long day, opening up boxes and putting up the deck last minute. But I think it performed really well, and I know I actually took out a couple cards that I know would fine tune. Here and there. And there's actually a couple cards that I didn't have at the moment that I knew, had I had them, would have probably performed greatly, even better. But anyways, and a lot of people are excited about this one just because it's very different, it's very new, and it's something that we haven't seen since, set 1. So let's get it started. You got Beerus. You know what he does, basically. On his front side, when this card attacks, if you have 3 or more energy, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and with cost of 2 or less and KO it. And when your life is 4 or less, you may flip it over, draw 2 cards. The reason why I decided to go with Beerus is obviously because of all the new god support, but also his field control in the early stages. Beerus is a ramp deck, so it's very easy to get up to 3 to 4 energy early game. And in this format where people are rushing with early cards, especially with like pan decks and ape decks, you're gonna want to be able to kill like really annoying 2-drop, 3 drops, and with the help of Beerus, he helps prevent that small field swarm early game. So yeah, that's what he basically does. On the flip side, he does the same thing. It's just that if I attack, I get to draw a card and choose one of my opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less and KO it. Never was able to activate main for 16, but I have gotten really close. I think yesterday I was at 13 for one of my matches, and then 11 for my other one. And one of that was because my opponent drew pretty terrible, and I was really able to ramp up. But anyways, let's go start with the deck profile and go from there. Mono blue deck, so we'll start with extra cards. Probably one of the best cards in the game. No need to explain. Senzu Bean, being able to defend yourself is really important because you're not really swinging with Beerus. You're looking to pretty much, maybe do some chip damage if you have to, but you don't want to awaken your opponent. You want to be able to defend yourself. So Senzu Bean is a nice way to kind of keep yourself from getting attacked by like, those little 10Ks or 15K attackers. Next is Boost Deck Piccolo. I'm still debating if I like this one or the new Kai 10K Blast. I know it likes to like combo out and stuff, so in an aggro deck, facing an aggro deck, if you're at that 4 life, or even just being able to bounce back cards, I think it's probably more valuable. But I just stuck with Boost Deck Piccolo just to be on the safe side. Next, probably one of the best cards that supported the Beerus deck is Majin Fire West Supreme Kai. She allows you to pretty much put herself on the field and use herself as energy. You could use this card to pay energy costs even when it's in your battle area. And she has barrier too, so there's a lot of cards that will prevent from her being pretty much removed from play. So barrier is like a nice protection. Very skill defining skill for barrier. But there are a lot of times where you would just use her as energy. Basically, when you want to ramp up and you have, the Whis 12 drop in your hand, you got X amount of energy. You have her on the field. You may have 1 or 2 of her on the field. Activate her, pay for energy, so you won't have to even wait till, that extra turn. There are a lot of times where I was able to get to 12 energy on like turn 6 and 7, just by using like the priest on turn 7, and then even having her on board to even pay for more. more things. So it's just a very good addition, and I actually don't run objections in this deck. Only reason why is because I'm scared of hand destruction, and in this format where there's a lot of rush, you know, I don't want to get caught with too many dead cards in my hand, and she's a combo, and again, she could help pay for cost if I need to, you know, use combos and stuff. So she's really great. She can be searched out from another Grand Kai, and she's just one of my new favorite cards in the set, and it definitely gave blue a boost. You know, which, I mean, they didn't really need a lot of energy boosts for blue, but I mean, take what you get, I guess. And then finally, my last 2 extra cards is Results of Training. In this deck where you ramp up pretty quick, you know, you don't mind, you know, dodging all those attacks and resulting with maybe 6 life still. So you need a way to self-awaken because you want to be able to have a chance to maybe poke with Beerus, attack their battle cards so you could be able to draw. You know, you want some type of card advantage in your hand. Alright, let's go with the battle cards. 1-drops. Goasu. No stranger to this deck. A lot of people put him together in the second set, and it made this deck kind of a lot more consistent. Well, with him having a lot more targets in this deck, makes him even more valuable, so you want to be able to at least see him multiple times. And he's a very, very powerful searcher. I mean, like, I use him multiple times in a game with some of the new cards, where I'm able to bounce him back to my hand, play him again next turn. So he's just super broken for this deck. He's pretty much the engine that makes everything consistent. Next, I ran 3 Bulma to search out for my Whis. Only ran 3, couldn't find room for a 4th. You really just want to try to reuse like your Goasu if you're able to with other cards. And again, there's cards that bounce cards back to your hand, which I'll show you, that you could like reuse. So I didn't want to like max out 4 of everything, but you know, she's good for pretty much just searching, and she's not used for a god searcher, so I'd rather fill my deck up with more god targets. Speaking of god targets, Kibito's Assistance, or Kibito's Kai Attendant. I like this card a lot. It's very flavorful. Active main. This is one of the new cards from the set. You get to switch this card to rest mode and choose one of your battle cards returned to your hand. It doesn't have to be a certain amount. You could choose like your 4-drop, your 5-drop, and then drop it again next turn, just by switching him to rest mode. Then choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 3 or less, returned to their owner's hand. So super powerful. I've used this on my opponent's like free 10k drop or 15k drop when they combo for 1. They put it in play. They're all tapped out, and then I use Kibito to bring that one back, and then bring another card back to my hand, and then play Goasu or something like that. So this is one of the main cards that help you bounce things in and out of you know, the battlefield. Especially when you're playing Rush, they're gonna drop like small guys like Kaba, Booze, Goku draw, other like small weenies and stuff, and you're gonna need to control that. And with Beerus and this card, you're gonna be able to control the early game. You know, bouncing back. You know, there are those free 15k drops. You know, those quick critical trunks, the new trunks. Pans, you know, all these little small guys. So you're gonna need to be able to do that, and this card is very helpful. Just rest them in the mode, bring back your Goasu, bring back their 3-drop Miraculous Gohan or something, like all these targets. You know what I'm getting at. So, and then also like against like androids, like their Cell or their Android combos and stuff. Android 17, Android 18. You know, return this back to their hands. So I like it a lot. It's a very defensive card, and it catches your opponent off a lot guard because they're gonna have to be tapped out with energy, and then you know you could just bring them back. Messes with the curve too, and by curve, you know, your opponent's expecting to, you know, drop a certain card that costs 3, and then the next turn maybe it costs 4, maybe cost 5. But yeah, by you bouncing back cards back to their hand, you're messing up the curve, you're messing up the tempo, and that's really what you want to do in this kind of deck, is just to really survive. And I think that was one of the things that Beerus lacked, was the ability to control the board state that heavily. Okay, awesome. Sorry about that. I had to explain that because there's a lot of people who are like wondering what makes this deck so much better. That's one of the reasons. Anyways, moving along, we have 3 Universal Leader Grand Supreme Kai. I played 4. I didn't like 4 because I took out some targets actually that didn't do as well as I thought they would do. There's a couple Kais that were just really like not meant for this deck. And really not that necessary. But basically, when you play this card, choose up to 1 battle card other than this card with the same name that has Supreme Kai in my deck, and add it to my hand. So basically, anything with like the Supreme Kai that has it within their name, you're able to search. And basically, I'm just searching for West Supreme Kai so I could combo it later. So he's a nice like tutor card. I usually don't drop him till later when when I'm closer to my Whis drop. So he's a good card, solid, but nothing too crazy. He's another god target for Goasu. Moving right along, not necessarily a 3-drop, but a combo card that's necessary in this kind of deck. 3 Gohans. I was an idiot for not running these cards at our event. Literally the first match, the first hand that I drew, I told my opponent, Sam, I was like, dude, have you ever made a deck and you realize that you didn't include like one of the most staple cards in the deck? And he's like, what happened? I was like, there's just a card that I just obviously left out, and Gohan was one of those. You got your free 15k, combo piece that's coming in, and I didn't have this. So for the updated version, play these, at least 3 of them. They will definitely save you from, again, rush decks. Rush decks is huge, and you're going to need some type of field to put a lot of pressure on your opponent, or at least to be able to combo out, have him in there. So he's absolutely necessary. All right, the next piece of this Beerus deck, which makes this deck incredibly powerful, which I didn't have 4 of, and I still am looking for of. Piccolo, the Strategist. Let me tell you about this card. This card is incredibly amazing. First off, look at the artwork. Badass. We don't have a lot of Piccolo representation in this game. So that's 1. 2, critical, which you're going to need. You don't want to give your opponent card advantage. Critical is definitely one of my favorite skills in this game. Barrier, another new skill that's super broken. An active main, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost equal or less than your energy. Energy. And KO it. You're Beerus. You're ramping up. You play this card, your opponent drops like 7 cost Vegito, 8 cost Vegito. Freaking $100 overpriced Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I don't even know how you'd survive by then, but if you're able to survive, pop this card, they're gone. They're gone. You're gonna have that much energy by then, hopefully, if you're ramping up. But yeah, this card is amazing. I mean, you'll be able to negate the skill, but with this card, popping stuff, and if you're able to get into the tempo and into the groove of this lock, you could lock your opponent out of like battle cards. Kai Attendant, rest him, bring Piccolo back, and then pop another guy. I mean, it's just insane. Like if they have like a lot of like smaller drops, like apes or something like that, you rest Kibito, bring back Piccolo. They have to bring back like their 3-drop ape, play Piccolo again, drop their like 5-drop ape. Board clear right there, and barrier. I mean, that's just like a small mini combo. But yeah, I only have 2 of. I only have 1 of him actually. I have a couple coming in through the mail, but yeah. Anyways, Piccolo, great. New addition. I actually originally had these guys for an early crit and pretty much God tutor. He's good. He's just very techy. But he could be another substitute if you guys don't have the Piccolos. He was pretty solid for a lot of my attacks. A lot of people didn't like the fact that it had critical, and his auto was that when this card attacks, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 3 or less, and return it to the owner's hand. This card would be really great against like the Cell, or Android stack. The being able to evolve and stuff, because cards stacked underneath those cards are placed in the drop area. So I mean, this would be really, really great against cards that are just really annoying. Those 3 drops, blockers, or anything like that. So, it's a solid card. Good for this deck. If you plan on going that route, I just didn't have much room for him, and but I did run him in the tournament, and he did do really well against decks that couldn't avoid the critical combo stuff that I did. But if you're able to get a hand of 4 Piccolos, I like this card a lot. Beerus is also another great option as well. If you guys are looking for alternatives to that combo. Alright, moving right along, we have 4 drops. Yeah, 2 Whis, Resting Attendant, and 1 Whis, Sacred Guard. Again, this is one of those cards where you didn't really need to max out because you have Kibito's Assistant. Being able to bounce this card back or Bulma back to search for another Whis, allows you to kind of utilize your deck building a little bit better. Putting in cards that you may not have to need to max out on because you're able to bring it back and reuse it again. So being able to redrop Whis every single turn if you really want a mana ramp, you could do that, which is really annoying against your opponent because they get kind of freaked out that you're mana ramping every single turn. So it's a problem for them, to kind of keep up with. But it's really powerful, and I use Whis as another target there. If I'm having trouble, it's a nice little blocker, 20k, does a lot of protection, so very solid. Next, after the Whis, I play 3 Returning Evil Golden Frieza. I think you guys know the theme already by now. Bouncing battle cards in and out of the battle area, so your opponent doesn't really have a field. So it's just really against your leader that's pressuring your leader. So Golden Frieza is an amazing card. Basically, this allows you to, pop a card. When you play this card, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, choose one of your battle cards, return to your hand, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and place it at the bottom of their deck. Cards stacked under this card are placed in that drop area. So again, this card was used a lot in set 2 against like Soul Strikers and stuff that really like to evolve. And if your opponent doesn't Cold Bloodlust this, they're not going to have a field. You're going to be bouncing things in and out, early drops. You're going to be killing drops early with Beerus, and you're going to be bouncing their threats, to the bottom of their deck. And you're going to be bringing back like your Whis again, or your Goasus and stuff, and just replaying things with your mana. And if you have 2 of these out, I mean, you just bounce back and forth, these little things. So it's very cute. It's very fun. I like this kind of interaction because it's really annoying for your opponent to kind of have cards here or there. Your opponent's thinking about which card to put out because they want to keep it there. They might only have to attack it once. They want to get full value out of it. But with cards like this, it forces your opponent to kind of play a little differently. Next, 3 priests. This is one of the key cards to help you pretty much mana ramp. This is no stranger to the Beerus deck. So for those who are seeing this for the first time, or at least a combo for this, when you play this card, if your leader card is God, which is Beerus, choose any number of other gods in your battle area and add them to your energy area in rest mode. So, I mean, being able to drop him on turn 7 and adding maybe 2 to 3, even 2 to 3 of those energies, you'll be at 10 energy already by then, which, forces your opponent to go all in the next 2 turns. Otherwise, they get Whis for 12. So being able to either protect your field, making sure that they don't attack into your battle cards is really important. You want to be able to protect your leader as well as your field so that you could combo with this card and you can ramp up rather quickly. But this is one of the key cards, to get there. Next is 2 Beerus, General Demolition. He is a backup card in case I'm not able to ramp up quickly. Sometimes, you're able to push your opponent down to 4 or 3 life. Even just, with your opponent just taking cards, like Mega Frieza, they're going to be taking cards anyways. If you know that you're not going to be making it to 12 energy, or ramping pretty slow, really hold on to Beerus General Demolition. It really depends on the matchup. If you got another deck that's really slow, or that you notice that they're not attacking as well, it's a little bit more control. Try to get Whis out. Try to ramp up. If you're not playing a hand destruction deck, try to ramp up. But if you're playing like a nice rush deck, hold on to Beerus because he's probably one of your only finishers in this deck. And you need a way to have a backup in case Whis is not able to get there. He is definitely still extremely powerful. For those who are seeing this for the first time, I don't believe you. No, I'm just kidding. There's a lot of people who are just starting DBZ, so welcome to my channel and welcome for the beginners because we need a lot more people in the game for this to thrive, and we see new people come in every day. So there's my little positive turnaround for that. Anyways, triple strike. They're down 4 or 3 life. You poke them if they take a damage. Whether they're Vegeta or they're Mecha Frieza, using their life as a resource. Triple strike, ending them there. When this card attacks a leader card, they have to discard 2 from their hand and place it in the drop area. And if they don't, they have to choose all of the cards in their battle cards and energy and place them in the drop area. So pretty much your opponent's gonna be discarding 2 cards. Either that or they're gonna maybe try to cold bloodlust a card or something like that. This card is very, very strong, and it could finish off a game. So don't sleep on this card. If you have to add 3 on it, that's totally fine if you want. But I think 2 is fine because you could really ramp up in this deck much quicker than set 1 and 2. And the last finisher, of course, is Whis, Judge of the Gods. This is basically the finisher for the game, pretty much. This is the dream right here. Yeah, that's basically the Beerus deck, revamped and everything. There are a couple cards that you can play. I'll mention the cards that are in my sideboard right here. Whis Corrosion. It's always great. The reason why I don't run a lot of extra cards is because I'm scared of just the rush decks that I don't want to be caught with a dead hand. A Fuva is a great option. Negate so many skills, like barriers and stuff, so absolutely necessary. Another great card is Droby, the Blocker Revenge. If your opponent's rushing you, they'll think twice, and then by then, if they want to stall, they don't want their battle card to be KO'd, you just hit them with a Beerus or just hit them with a bounce back effect. Another fun card, if you're playing it's hand destruction or something that's just really annoying, is Zeno-sama, Playing God. I like to use him in between matches where my opponent doesn't really expect it as much. Actually, I like to use these 3 and then also these 2 if I know that I'm not going to be able to ramp up. I'd probably play Zeno so that I could swap my hand and both of us are pretty much starting even. And then if I drop either God Breaks on Goku or Beerus God Demolition, they can't negate my attack. So these should be your closers. So God Breaks on Goku. I love this card a lot. Double strike. Your opponent cannot activate counters and they can't activate blockers. So pretty much they're gonna have to combo over this. So it's a 30k, super strong card, and this with Beerus, can really close deals. So what I like to do is if my opponent does know how to play around Beerus, I mean most people should by now, in a way. Then I'd like to I like to swap out the 12-drop Beerus and the Priest for pretty much these 2 and these 3, and then maybe a couple Yajirobis or something like that, or Mafubas, and then really catch my opponent off guard because they're expecting me to kind of ramp up. But guess what? I'm not. I'm gonna be swinging you with these guys. You can't counter them, and I'm building up my hand or dropping our hand, and it kind of catches them off guard. So that's kind of my playstyle at the moment. This is pretty much the very first version of this deck. I'd probably call it 1.2 because I did edit it twice since the event. So, keep that in mind. I'd like to have actually your suggestions, what you guys think about the deck, because this is a community driven page. I support all my viewers, and I really do listen to people's either criticisms, constructive or not, and I do take things into consideration. So that's the only way to become a better player, is listening to your peers' advice if they had better success with other combos or anything like that. So shout outs to the original creators of this deck, back in set 1 and set 2, who thought of this, just me being able to utilize the new cards was kind of common sense. So it's nothing too crazy, but I think with what I built, it's a super fun deck. So try it out, see what cards you like, see what cards you don't like, see what kind of ratios mix with you. Again, it really depends on how the meta will turn out, but I think I pretty much explained the things for certain matchups, things to look out for. So your aggro decks, just really pay attention to your opponent's leader, what they could do, and see if you can mitigate the damage and whatnot. But yeah, I look forward to making several deck profiles. I know I'm not able to make any more regionals for this next season, which is probably, I think, only one more, but do look forward to bringing deck profiles. And I think, depending on how I feel, I might do some deck profiles on this guy that everybody hates, but that's the next thing right there. Sneak peek, or the other sneak peek of the deck that I might show you guys is the pan with her super fun stuff. So who knows what deck I'll be showcasing next. Matter of fact, why don't you guys leave a comment below, see if you guys want to see that Mecha Frieza Khalifa hand destruction deck, or that pan aggro mono red. We'll see what you guys like. So thank you guys for watching my video. Rate, comment, subscribe. I am going to run another contest. I am trying to hit 500 subs, so hopefully you guys could help me with that out, and then I'll be giving out some good stuff. So thank you guys again for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Enjoy Beerus, enjoy the God of Destruction, and hopefully you can destroy your opponents on tournaments, guys. Alright, see y'all later. Peace out.